This is Undaunted.Life, a man's podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Thompson. Let's get into it. All right, guys, happy Father's Day. I know that Father's Day is not a big holiday for most people because this is typically just a day to crap on fathers all over the world, but we're celebrating Father's Day by giving you a present, right? I got you guys a present, right? I didn't even get myself a present. This is technically my second Father's Day, but I'm not even going to get anything because I was working hard for you guys. I've got an announcement to make, and that is that we have a new devotional that we are launching today. Okay. It's called How to Build a Godly and Manly Foxhole. How to build a godly and manly foxhole. And so, guys, we're going to talk about that a little bit. This is going to be a very short episode because basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to be releasing every episode or every part of this devotional, every day of this devotional for the rest of the week, right? So right after the posting of this, I'm going to drop day one of how to build a godly and manly foxhole. And then every day for the rest of the week, we're going to post the next day's whatever lesson, whatever you want to call it. And it's going to culminate on Saturday with day 7. So before I get into the content of what that is and kind of do an introduction to this whole thing, I do want to give a special thank you to our partners and to our donors. Okay, so back in episode 190, right, it was called We're Going For It. I explained to you guys that we're really going to go for it. Like, we're really going to do everything that we can to equip men to push back darkness. We're going to just try to 10x everything that we're doing, but we couldn't do it without you guys, right? So a lot of you guys stepped up. You stepped up and you became monthly partners with us or even just one-time donors. And what we're able to do with those funds and the focus that we're able to put on this types of content, it could not have happened without that, right? It just couldn't have happened without that. So when you guys get to see this devotional and go through this entire devotional, it's going to be a big deal for you. It's going to be a big deal for the men around you, but we couldn't do that without our partners and donors. So again, special thank you. And another special thank you to some of our team members. So these are some of the guys that kind of help with some of the stuff with Undaunted Life. They were really integral in the development process of all this, kind of helping me process the content, kind of get the flow of everything. And so by name, Derek Edwards, Derek England, Eric Browning, and Matt Grassmeyer. Guys, I really, really appreciate everything that you've done for this and just believing in this project from the beginning. So I wanted to thank you guys. Now, I will go ahead and tell you guys that you're going to be able to access this plan in several different ways. Okay, so the first way to access this plan is on this podcast feed. So wherever you're listening to this, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google Podcast, Stitcher, wherever, you can just listen to this feed. Right? So that's going to be, again, day 1 is dropping today, and then day 2 tomorrow, so on and so forth until Saturday. So you guys will have it all here. So that's just if you just want to be able to listen to it. Okay. Now, our website is also a place that you can get this content, but you will actually be able to download the content, right? We want you to be able to download this audio so that you can have it, on your phone or on your iCloud or wherever that you have it so that you can continue listening to it, even if you don't have the podcast feed, okay? So that is a special link that we'll have there later on in the show, but it'll be in the show notes. It's Undaunted.Life/donate/foxhole, okay? So that's a way that you can download this content for yourself. And the last way is to get this on the YouVersion Bible app. Again, that's one of the most downloaded apps in the history of apps. It's the biggest Bible app by any stretch of the imagination. But I will tell you, just kind of a little bit of an aside, the content is slightly altered for YouVersion. Okay, so YouVersion kind of came to me and they're like, we want to do this plan. And so it's like, all right, put this thing together. It's an audio plan, also with a notes component and then the Bible component. But there were a few things that I said during the creation of this devotional that they weren't too fond of, right? They thought it would potentially be too divisive or too offensive. And so we had to kind of go back and forth with them for a couple of weeks. So there are slight alterations to the plan on YouVersion. So if you do it on YouVersion and then you come over to our website or to our podcast feed, just know that it will be slightly different, but don't worry, guys. I'm not just going to sell myself down the road to appease some people that are a little bit sensitive. So just know that the content, the meat of the content is still the same. Now, I do want to talk a little bit about what this content is. And I guess the best place to start is why this subject? Why do men need to know how to build a godly and manly foxhole? Okay. So we talked about the concept of the foxhole in this podcast before, and we've mentioned it other places as well, but most men don't have one. Right? I mean, we keep hearing all the time, like, men don't have any friends and men are lonely and men are depressed and men don't have anyone they can count on. And I kind of extrapolated that out further to say that, a lot of men have 6 p.m. friends, right? Friends that they can call up until about 6 p.m. And then after that, they're pretty much not available to you. But very few guys have 3 a.m. friends where you call this person at 3 a.m., your world is falling apart, and you can already hear them getting their keys, or they're putting their gun in their holster, like they're grabbing the shovel. They're assuming we're burying a body. They're just armed for bear. They're ready to go to serve you and to serve your family and whatever they need to do. Most guys don't have those 3 a.m. friends. Most guys don't have a group of men like that either. So we constantly talk about cultivating spiritual, mental, and physical resilience. And the thing about that is it's easy to kind of figure that out for yourself. It's not that easy. Obviously I wouldn't talk about all that much if it was that easy, but you can focus on you because you can control the things that you can do. But very few men try to cultivate a group of men that are also doing the same thing. Men that are surrounding them that are also cultivating spiritual, mental, and physical resilience. I mean, that's a hard thing for most men to even fathom. And imagine being in a small, tight-knit community of men that are all doing that same thing and doing it in the same direction and grounding it in Christ and the gospel and all those things. That's an amazing thing that men need, but they don't have it. They simply do not have it. Another reason why I'm doing this content is because I asked guys a couple of months back. I was trying to get some of the guys that I know that have listened to this podcast from the beginning to give me some feedback. Like, hey, what are like the 5 episodes? Like if you had to encapsulate Undaunted.Life, a man's podcast, into like 5 episodes, like this is our philosophy. This is what we do. This is the best that we can produce. And which episodes are those? Right. And then there were a lot of different episodes that were thrown out. There were several dozen suggestions, but every single one of them that I asked for this, and I asked a lot of guys, said episode 104 of this podcast called Your Foxhole. And I knew that was an important episode, but I didn't realize it was that important to so many people because these are guys from all different kinds of backgrounds, different, places in life, different stations in life. And all of them said episode 4, Your Foxhole. So I was like, why is that? I asked some guys for feedback and it was just like, man, it's just not something that's easy to do. Like it's something that's really hard, but like we're thirsty for it. We want that. And so I just wish I knew how to do that. So that is exactly why we're doing how to build a godly and manly foxhole, right? Again, we get into all the content there. I don't want to kind of rush it at this point because I want you to kind of take this 7-day journey with us. But guys, you need this, and I'm going to show you how to get there. But here's my call to action. Again, this is a shorter episode because we've got a lot of content that we're going to be giving to you guys over the next week and a half or so. So number 1, okay, listen, absorb, and apply this content immediately. Obviously, you need to listen to it. If you're the type of person that likes to listen to it and take notes, I think that would be a great thing for you to do. On the YouVersion side, there are actual notes there that I kind of give you like the highlights of what I'm talking about here, but I want you to kind of take your own notes, the things that are important to you, absorb that, kind of bring that into you internally and figure all that out, whatever that looks like for you, but apply it immediately. Don't theorize about this content. It's kind of like those people that never get in shape because they're constantly getting ready to get in shape, right? Like they're buying the shoes, they're reading about, what types of pavement is best to run on and, what time of day and in what, what a climate and like, no, put on your shoes and go run, right? Throw your gi on and go to class. Like it's those types of things. Listen to this, absorb it, but then apply it immediately. I give you very practical ways to do this. So apply it. Okay. So that's number 1. Number 2, get your men and your church involved in this. Okay. So around the time that this is being released, I'm actually going to speak at a men's event where this is going to be the main focus. And this is for, ages 12 and up. And it's going to be this big thing. It's going to be great. But I'm going to be looking at these men to be like, no. This is what you need to do. You need to develop this type of an atmosphere. Okay. So the men that are in your life, whether you would call them a foxhole or not, right? And if you don't know what that means, definitely take a look at this content once it's coming out. But for the men that are around you in your life, whether you have a men's group or you have that group of guys that gets together once a month to do this, that, or the other thing, get them involved in this content. Go through this content together. If you want to get together at 6 a.m. and talk about it over coffee once a week, like go for it. If you want to create this and let this be a 7-week plan for you and your group, a 7-month thing, like let that be what this is. Also, get your church involved. Because as I've talked about a lot, most churches don't have a men's ministry. They might do men's events, right? Once a year, they do a chili cook-off or they, bring in the retired football player to come talk about how he used to chase women and all that. And now Jesus has saved him. And that's not men's ministry. That's programming. That's an event. So guys, if you want me to come to your church, right? Whether you're the pastor or you're just part of the flock, you got to hit me up. right? We got the content here. We got the ways that you can get a hold of me. You can get a hold of us through the website. Again, just shoot me an email, info@Undaunted.Life. I can come to you guys and talk about this content, right? We can take even the 7 days where I kind of elucidate all these points very tightly, and we can expand it out even further from that. So that's the second part. Get your men in your church involved, okay? Here's the last call to action for the day before I let you guys get into the rest of the content. Partner with us to push back darkness. Again, this devotional, which we believe that God is going to do an amazing thing, an amazing work because of the things that we're able to talk about during this devotional, right? The words that he gave us to use. But we were not going to be able to do that without partners. I said that from the top of the episode. Our people that are monthly partners with us, are one-time donors, when you do those things, we can produce these things. Right? I said from the beginning, if you go back to episode 190, we want to do more podcasts. We want to do some more devotionals. We want to put together some curriculum. We want to do all this. We want to do all that. But when you guys give, that allows us to do those things. I know everyone gets a little bit weird about asking for money. No, we need your money. We need your buy-in, because that's what you do when you give money to somebody. You tell them, hey, I really like your product. I really like what you do. I want to support it. So, it's $20. Okay, here's $20. But this is what we've done. This is important. For any of you guys that are thinking about skipping over this because I'm asking about money, we did not put a price tag on this content. We thought about it. We thought about, putting, $10, $15, $20, because we know this is valuable. We know this is valuable content for people that people would buy. They would give money to. But we don't want to limit to that. So if you just want to take in this content for free and just take the free ride, fine. I hope you apply the content. But we want to leave you guys with the ability to donate the amount that you feel like is commensurate with the impact that you've gotten from this devotional. Okay? So for some of you, we're asking a minimum of $10 because we feel like what we've produced is a quality thing. So that's about the price of a ebook or something like that. So $10. But we know other guys are going to go well and above that. We know guys are going to become monthly partners with us. And we know guys are going to just kind of dump, kind of that one time a year money into our coffers and all that. And that's how we keep all of this going. So we're asking you to please help us push back darkness. And that's the specific way that you can do it. So again, the calls to action are 1, listen, absorb, and apply this content immediately. 2, get your men in your church involved. And 3, partner with us to push back darkness. So guys, the quick resilience boost here at the end. Again, Undaunted Life, our mission is equipping men to push back darkness with content that forges spiritual, mental, and physical resilience. This devotional is certainly part of that. The podcast is a part of that. So I've got 2 links for you. Number 1 is the audio download link. This is also where you go to become a monthly partner for us, right? So if you go to www.Undaunted.Life/donate/foxhole, right? So that's the way to get to it. It's going to be in the show notes if you want to check it out later. We would ask that you would make a donation or become a monthly partner, and then you've got the audio download right there. But guys, even if you just want the audio download, you can skip right past it. We're not blocking it from you because we want this content in your hands, but we want you to partner with us. The other link is to the YouVersion version, okay? And so that is a version that is slightly altered, like I told you from the beginning. But if you like to do your devotionals through them, you can do it that way. All right, guys, thanks so much for listening to this podcast. We really do appreciate it. Wherever you're listening to this, please subscribe, rate, and review. If you want me to come speak live at your event or on your podcast, just shoot me an email to info@Undaunted.Life. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok and like us on Facebook. You can also check out our website for everything else, including how to donate to keep more content like this coming. Again, that's just Undaunted.Life, www.Undaunted.Life. We also want to thank the band August Burns Red for allowing us to use their music for our content. The intro-outro track on this podcast is their song Cutting the Ties, which is off their 10th anniversary re-recording of their album Leveler. The links to all of this are in the description. I'm your host, Kyle Thompson. Remember, keep pushing back darkness. Keep forging spiritual, mental, and physical resilience. Keep seeking the Lion of Judah.